All right, so let's bring in technology journalist Chris Stokel-Walker. Hello, Chris. I'm sure you've heard what Will said. So let's go back to that ruling on Apple's tax impropriety in Ireland. Irish government, they were using that tax incentive to get them to do business in Ireland. Why then is this significant? Because it seems that Ireland is not happy with the deal.
Yeah, and I think that this is an indication perhaps of how strongly European regulators are choosing to crack down on these big tech companies, often superseding the wishes of the other 27 member states of the European Union here. As you say, Ireland has made its name off being a low tax haven for big tech companies. It's where many of those companies choose to base their European arms, and that is in part because of that low tax rate that we talked about. 0.005% in 2014 was the effective tax rate that Apple was paying. Of course, they have, and they do say, and Will pointed out there, have paid a decent amount of tax, something like $500 million overall, but it does indicate that I think this is a sort of slap on the wrist for individual countries wanting to go their own way when it comes to tech.
Today, the European Court of Justice also upheld a fine of $2.6 billion against Google, finding it abused its dominant position regarding its shopping comparison service. Now, given Google actually changed its system after the original court case back, I think, in 2017, how important is this ruling across big tech?
I think it's important for a couple of reasons, and it is very, very important. Number one is that it shows that no bad deed will go unpunished, and I think that is important. We know that we've had about 25 years of big tech companies choosing to do what they want and often getting away with it. So even though this is 7 years old now, this issue, I think it is important that the regulators are drawing a line in the sand and saying, actually, it is important that you pay the price for those misgivings. But I think it also signals perhaps again, that perhaps the European Commission and regulators might not take quite as long with the next issue. And we're already seeing this with many different areas. And I think that's the reason why they're choosing to pursue this still, is a bit of a warning shot to say, you might have got away with it in the past, but we're not going to wait as long in the future.
Yeah, but, you know, at the same time, the US Department of Justice pursuing Google regarding how it sells advertising. That case still ongoing. I'm wondering how you view these various cases against big tech companies. Do you just see it as typical of the kind of dangers of any big company doing business, or is it actually a sign that we're still playing catch-up on how to regulate technology?
I think it's still a sense of catch-up. You know, as we've explained, we have had a long time where tech companies have got away with quite a lot, and that's because they have driven our economy, they've given us jobs and frankly improved our lives in many ways. But I think what we're starting to see are the second and third order impacts of that, which are often quite negative in terms of, you know, punishing our lives and making it quite difficult for us to interact with one another. So you know, when Google is essentially taking something like 30 cents in every dollar of the sales through their shopping arm, which is what is being alleged here with how Google is kind of advertising its business, then that becomes a significant issue and one that the US regulators want to look at. What's really interesting, I suppose, is that this is US regulators who are based in that country, the businesses, and so it's kind of surprising, I suppose, that they are also cracking down perhaps quite as eagerly as the Europeans as well.
Thank you so much. Technology journalist Chris Stokel-Walker there.